this big old metal workbench is coming into here. Clean the rust off that. Chop the legs off it a little bit. That patch where it's going there is not level. Some little adjustable feet. It's super heavy. I had to use the crane truck to get that halfway into here to build up a little platform that I can put some wheels on, jack it up, wheel this into here, tidy off this bench. That'll be good. Hey Max, hey, you ready to go and finish cleaning up the shed? You going to do a job? We got to get back to it, get it done. Let's get that welding bench done, eh? Alright, let's grab these washers. Just been down to Bunnings to get some washers for the welding table. Come on, let's go. Big job today, mate, big job. We're going to tell people what we're doing. Come and have a look. We've got a few bits and pieces here to make some I'll show you later. So we've got the old welding table here. I had a little time lapse the other night of bringing this welding table here, or a big bench, whatever, and it used to be in here on the dirt floor. So we took down the cyclone chains, and with a bunch of trolleys and winches and a lot of mucking around, had to jack it up to the right height on uneven ground with the old I don't know what you call those things, but they're fun. They're fun. I had a few near misses with those things. I've got to work out whether that jack is just a cheap one and doesn't work very well, or am I not using it right, or should I be maintaining it a bit better? I've tried greasing it and lubricating. I don't know whether it just doesn't. They're a bit clicky, and I don't know. I'd like to use a good one, an expensive one, good quality one, to see if they're any different to that. Anyway, we jacked this up. We've got the feet off the ground at the moment, and we're going to cut a little bit off because this is about 950 high to here, and we can afford to drop that down a couple of inches, get it down to about the 3 foot mark, and we're going to put it along here on this little patch of concrete. But that patch of concrete, as I might have said before, is made to slope away, so we're going to put some little leveling feet on there. So I'm going to chop off maybe a couple of 3 inches off the bottom of those legs where they're a bit rusty on the bottom. A 2-inch box there. I've got 6 legs. I'll finish cleaning this off, and I bought. Let me grab a couple of things here. I bought, so I get these off the old photocopiers I recycle at work, you know, like if any old photocopiers. These are the flywheels in colour photocopiers, well, sometimes black and white ones as well. These are the flywheels, you know, direction, rotation thing, and we've got different. Some of them have got bigger ones than this too, you know, like there's all sorts of. Some of them have got like double thickness, you know, that sort of thing. And there's big ones like this, but this size here, which I haven't got very many of, and I'm just not sure what model they came on. I found 4 of them. I had 100 work yesterday, and I had 2 at home here, and I'll probably get more in boxes every time I pull the copiers apart. Just throw them in the bin. I sort of recycle all the bits that I can. Take a few electronic components out, and anything that looks like I can make something out of. And that to me looks like it would make a good foot, a good leveling foot. And I've got a bunch of these. When I was cleaning up in the thing here, I've got, what do we got? I've got a whole bin of these. And these would have been for cool room shelving. We used to sell different incarnation of the business. We used to sell Dexian shelving, like all these bins, and but there was a version of it that you could get for cool room shelving, which probably would have had shelves like this little other thing here, these metal grills, and these are the leveling legs for them. And although it's not really heavy enough for something like this, I've looked up on the interwebs to see how to make some some leveling feet, and although I've got, you know, the photocopiers come with some leveling feet and that sort of thing, but they're not quite heavy enough for a bench that's this heavy, I think. Well, that's, you know, that's 5/8 plate, 16mm plate. That's pretty heavy. To shift this thing was, it's pretty scary, and it's quite top heavy too. It wants to tip. So I figured I would have liked to have gone a bit thicker for a bolt. I think that's going to be M12. 6 of those is going to be strong enough to hold it up. So my idea to make a foot. This happens to be the same thickness here. So what I was going to do is just drill that out to 12mm, have this come up from beneath and sandwich it on, bolt it on, so that gives me a nut here that I can turn to twist the wheel, yeah, and or to twist the foot down, and then I would put another lock nut as well, so I can sort of lock the height. Then where's the, oh yeah, square washer. Then what I'm going to do here, I went down to Bunnings and just bought a couple of 65mm square washers. I can just once I cut this to the right height, I can weld this on the bottom a little bit like that. I can get a decent weld around there. But meanwhile, I would have welded in. You get the idea, right? I weld in that, weld that in, then weld that onto the bottom. And then I don't even have to make these things today. I can go and put this in place. I need to put this in place to get it out of the middle of the little shed that I've cleaned up, because it looks like I've made another mess. I'll get rid of some of this rubbish, put it in some other various sheds. Is that the right thing to do, Matty? Yeah? Yeah, good. Do you believe me? You think that's the right thing to do? Alright, so Maggie and me, we're going to go and clean up this stuff. Paint will go in a paint shed. We've got a paint shed somewhere, surely. And some of those can go in the set and junk sheds. Yeah. At least they all sort of hang in the same place. You know where to go looking for something. We will come back to that in a minute. But what we've got to do also, I had a bit of a dilemma. You guys might have an idea about this. You see, have a look at the end of this bench. One's got an overhang on this side, and one hasn't. And this side here, it's got some nicely made, drilled, milled, I don't know what the hell, a couple of holes. Because this used to be, this was a high tensile bit of steel on the back of a Japanese truck that was imported. Dad used to import these trucks. So it seemed like a waste to leave all this whole deck of high tensile steel on a truck deck. So that made a few projects for him. He's built a few things out of that 5/8 plate. A whole lot of teppanyaki tables was one of the one things that he's done. But my thing is, I like the idea of this overhang. If I have it this way, have the bench here, have the overhang on this side, it takes up a little bit more space in the shed, you know, because I can afford to have it hanging out further on that side, because there's room. If you see this bench here, you know, there's room, because that little roof slash wall, or wall slash roof, is going to be continued along. I don't know if I'm going to get that done today. I might get something done today. There's some rain coming down south. There's some rain coming, some big storms. So I'd like to be able to get this a little bit weather protected. So the cyclones and wind and weather, it doesn't rain, it doesn't blow in here. So, but so I've got room to have it hanging out that side. And already we've got the vise, big heavy vise, and the grinder on that side. So if I was to have it hanging out this side, I'd have to go and shift those things. I'd have to drill some holes, at least 2, maybe 3 holes in some high tensile steel, 5/8 steel. Yeah, that's no easy task, you know. If you're talking about efficiency, I like efficiency, and I like efficiency of time and stuff like that. I mean, maybe that's lazy, but I also want to do the right thing here. But I think the overhang's going to be handy for me. Sometimes you can clamp things on, or if you're working on something, a shaft or something like that, working on a shaft, and you need to working on a hub or an axle hub or something, you know, you can put it through the hole. Might be a handy thing to have, you know, something to be able to clamp, or, you know, I'm thinking that I might have to shift the vise. So the vise though, looking like why it might have been put on that end, we've sort of got about that far here, that far. We're using the measuring tool. That far, we're sort of running into where the leg would be. So you'd have to come into about here. Then you're going to cover that hole anyway. So what I'm thinking of doing, so what are we, that distance there, it's going to be about 9 inches. So if I went, and put the hole into there, and instead of putting a nut on the bottom, I'll tap it, because I mean, it's thick enough to be able to tap this. It's a bit of mucking around, you know, it's not efficient use of time, but it'd be a nice way of doing it. And if I went to there, the hole would be there. So we would possibly still have that hole exposed. The vise would come around here, the housing. I think that hole would be exposed for some use. But then we got this one as well, but you know. I don't know. So I think that's an idea. But first I want to get it so I can put it on there. I don't need to make the feet today. It can be a project, nighttime project, get a few feet made. In the meantime, we'll get these welded onto the bottom and get that in position. It's going to be a task. Get this tidied up, and we'll come back to you. I might just film a couple of things in between, making the feet or something like that. We'll do something, but let's get it done. Okay guys, we had a bit of lunch. We might have seen the time lapse we just did of clearing off the bench. Maggie's come to check out what I've done here. She thinks I've done something. She's not sure what it was. I was making a lot of noise, so she doesn't like to hang around for the noise. That's for me to deal with. So we've taken we've measured down, and we've allowed for a little bit of foot on these thing there. We've chopped them off, ready to weld on. I've got to weld that onto there, and then that up into there. Alright, that gives us little feet that we can later on next week, during the week, add this type of deal onto it, and but at the moment that'll give us something. We can go and put it over there, we can jack it up and put those wheels on, the leveling feet on afterwards. But we've sort of we've cleaned this off, got rid of all the rubbish and stuff that was on there, and it's just sort of dispersed it into other sheds. You know, there's yeah, little sheds there that are, we've got all the pumps and electric motors, and ones that have got the spray tanks, and I don't know. So we've just spread it around, spread the mess around. Maybe some of it should go to the rubbish, but some of it's still good. So you know, I'll have to go through it all one day. It's because we've got some value. So anyway, this is what we're going to do now. We're going to just weld those feet on, and if I can weld those feet on and get this parked over here, it'll probably do for today. For in here, maybe it might do. I might try and get a bit of a measure up and see if I can, what I've got to do to put the frame up on here to extend the roof. Yeah, no, it never gets old for me. I don't know, but boom boom here all week. Try the plaster. That's what we're doing. We're going to put that there. Maybe look at getting the roof on. Let's get the welder out and give it a go, eh? Let's give it a go. Come on. Alright then. Maggie's gone. She probably figures I'm gonna... Oh no. You got a bone to pick with me, Maggie? She's pretty happy. Told her last week she's overweight. After going to the vets. Went through the brochure with her. And she didn't like hearing it. We've done a few runs up and down the hill. She doesn't come in the front of the pickup truck anymore. You call that a pickup truck? It's a ute. It's a ute. It's a utility. Alright, just so you know, that's a ute. Utility truck, not a pickup truck. So Maggie, she's been given a bone last week in lieu of having to listen to the rant about being overweight. She's on her exercise regime. Is it working yet? I reckon it's working, Maggie. You're looking good. You're looking gorgeous, Maggie. Anyway, we'll leave her to her bone. Right, Max. Do some welding. Alright, real quickly. Yeah, we've got a little bit more to do here, you know, there's a little bit of cleaning up this edge here. This is not my ideal edge that I wanted the vise on, and for showing you, but because I want this overhang here, that's the side that we're going to see here. So I'm going to have to run along there with a 9-inch grinder and maybe even square it up. It looks like it might even be easier just to cut it with the grinder, eh? Nice clean cut down there with the 5-inch 1mm wheel. And then I've got to run over here with a sanding disc, a couple little weld things, and knock those off. See what I can do with this big sanding disc and a backing pad. And this edge is not too bad. That's a nice. There's a factory edge there, and that's a factory edge. I don't know if that's a factory edge. It's pretty good though. Hey Maggie, did you have a look at my workbench? Did you see what I did here? Yep. And then this one, I put the feet on there. Yeah. Yep. I painted it too. Yeah. And I got another one here. I got 6 legs. Yeah. Well, it's exciting to me. She's just going to check it out. Oh, no. No, that's not where it's going. It's going over where the purple box is. No, it's where it came from. Yep. Yeah. It should be good when I get the feet on. So these are the feet. These are the feet that I was going to make. Right. I had these off a copier flywheel. Smooth out the old gears and everything on the flywheel on the colour copiers. That's what they do. And I was going to have this, drill a hole, stick one of these up from underneath, so that would go down on top of that. And that happens to be the same sort of thickness, so that would be good. I'm just wondering if that's thick enough, you know. And then I was going to have wind the nut down onto it so it pinches up, and then maybe a couple of tacks just so it holds it. And then you've got something to turn it with. You know, you've got a nut there that you turn it with, and you can put a lock nut on. You can put a second one on there to lock it. We've got nuts inside the old 65mm square washers there. Now, I don't know if I said before, you know, like I wanted something a little. This would be fine. That's no good as the feet. It needs to be bigger. It needs to spread the load a bit. Otherwise, you're talking about point load, putting the stilettos onto the concrete, you know. And I didn't make that concrete that flash. Like, I'm even wondering whether these shopping trolley wheels might have made a. Would they have dented this concrete? Could they have? Oh gosh. I was running out of cement on that job, so maybe I shortchanged it, but it's alright for what it is. It's alright for what it is. I just won't broom it very hard. I'll just I'll use a blower. I won't use a broom. That's what I'll do. Right. So I was saying I wanted something a little bit heavier duty, maybe. So I'm making these up. This is what I've got. I thought I might have had some other ones that had some of these built on. I don't know where. They used to be on the Minolta photocopiers in the days gone by. And I would have a bunch of those somewhere. I couldn't find them. They'll be somewhere. They'll turn up when I as soon as I've done this job, they'll turn up. But I was down there mowing the lawn, and I had a little bit of a problem. I drove over a bit of railway iron and a rock, and which I normally avoid, but this time I didn't. And so I turned it off in a hurry and all that sort of stuff. Went and straightened the straightened up the mower deck and made sure the blades are right. They're okay, you know. Got the LG clamp out there and bent the front of the deck out again. And while I was down there, I couldn't get the lawnmower started. After that, it just there was something. There was a funny noise in the solenoid, and even I went looking for like something that I could use for a jumper cable to go straight from the battery onto the starter motor, just to bypass all of that stuff, just to get me going, get the lawns mowed, just get that job done, you know. And do you think I could find down there a battery cable, anything? I just tidied up here this morning. I've got a box of battery cables, and here I've got a jumper leads and all sorts of stuff. You know, down the bottom I could not find anything. And then I took off the truck. There was a crane truck down there. I took a little joiner cable between the batteries. It looked like it might be just about long enough to go from the solenoid to the starter motor with a bit of help from a screwdriver, and it still wouldn't start. So anyway, come back up the top. I've grabbed my jumper pack, my jumper leads, and tool set just in case. And do you think I could get it going with the jumper? No, but I just gave it a start with the jumper pack, and she started straight away. So that's all good. I've gone and put it back on the charger, and the charger says it's green. So I don't know what was wrong there. But while I was looking for the jumper leads, I found another box of casters, because I have boxes of casters that I take off old photocopiers and printing equipment. Every time we go to throw something out, I sort of recycle. Some people call it hoarding, but I don't know. I found these. These would have been perfect. I wouldn't have had to make any of this if I'd found them this morning rather than now. I wouldn't have put the nuts that I put in there. I put these 1/2-inch nuts in there. These are probably 5/8. Look at that. And I would have. They had a 16mm hole in those washers, so they would have been fine to go. You know, I would have been able to put another nut in there, and these would be perfect. Except I could only find 5. So it was cruel to find them, but it was even crueler to only find 5. And I couldn't get the I couldn't find a jumper cable. I couldn't. Yeah. Sometimes the universe throws you curveballs just to see how you're going to handle. Look at these mosquitoes. Are they going for the zinc paint? Can you see these mosquitoes? I'm going to have to break the cycle of these. But yeah, the universe throws up these things for you. If I had 6, I'd contemplate drilling and tapping those out to a different size or something, you know. Never mind, we're going to go with that. And we're going to shift this back into place, and the mosquitoes are eating me alive, so yeah.